Yeah, it was the things that stood out a little bit. They minimized a few of the explosives. There's some explosive plays out there, but I think the thing that carried them throughout the day were the three turnovers. I mean, at the end of the day, when you get turnovers, you give the offense possession in normal games, and you score 5 points in the spring game. So I think they played with a ton of energy. They're down some guys a little bit, but you have what you have. You do what you can do with the guys you have, and I think ultimately it probably ran about 15 or 18 plays more than we had anticipated. We're probably in the mid 80s at the end of the day. So, but and the 5 timeouts used by the defense in the second half probably is probably only a spring ball non-rule. So that probably helped the defense out a little bit when you're talking about what the defense did is they maximized their energy through maximizing their timeouts. And so I get heat, stand in the middle of that field, not on O, not on D, and it's always my fault, but it was fun. It was really fun. Good ending to a spirited game, and everybody came out healthy.
These spring games, it seems like there's always individual performances. I know we can't read too much into stats, but were there some plays that stood out to you and any guys who really showed something in this game?
Well, I think you look at 13, Michael Wortham. I mean, he can extend plays, not just with his arms, but with his legs. I think all three, like I said, all spring, those three quarterbacks have taken a huge jump from where they started. Having got here in January, two of the three. Kakoa's turned into a fierce leader. He's hard on himself, which is a huge strength. But he knows that the game is slowing down to him. It's not slow enough yet, but it's slowing down, which is a good sign. Great leader. Those three push each other. So I thought they played really well. I think the run game got untracked a little bit at times. Could have made a few more plays in the air. I thought we got our hands on balls a little bit. Could have come down with some more balls, but I think all in all, I think it was kind of a little bit back and forth affair in a lot of different ways. Some tough catches, some broken tackles, but it was not sloppy by any stretch, which is a good thing. It was solid. It was complimentary when it needed to be, and I think at the end of the day, it did what we intended it to do: be competitive, down really to the last drive.
What's the message to the team here going into the next 3 months or the off season, if you will?
To be honest with you, the biggest one is be in the best football shape you can be when we start practice, and the football shape's different than shape. So that's going to be a big one. We're going to start out with longer periods of just playing football. Usually we're in increments or racks of a certain amount of plays. I want to be able to push the envelope early, so I'm going to put that on them in the next 3 months when we meet next week with the team as far as, okay, there's a lot of things we can clean up, a lot of things we need to be better at, but if there's one thing that we need to be, I didn't say track shape, I said football shape. So that's a lot of it, bridging the gap from spring to fall, because we've got to be in shape, football shape, when we get into August, so we can maximize our reps when we get there. So that'll be the biggest piece. We got better as spring wore on, and we're always going to be a little bit non-football shape in spring because we're trying to put on mass in the off season. But now it's we're where we need to be weight-wise in a lot of areas. So now we need to be in football shape, and so that's the biggest piece. That's not just physical football shape. That's sustaining mentals and situational stuff. And not letting the body control the mind. So it's a little bit mind over matter, but that is probably the biggest message when it's all said and done.
After last year's, at least statistically, the defense had a tough year. I'm curious, what did they need in this spring, do you think? And do you think that they got what they needed?
I think this team needed added competition from the outside in. I think that was a big talk we had in December, that if we just all sit in the room, coaches and players included, and think that we're just going to just play and roll things back the next fall with the same bodies, the same mentality, the same procedures. Someone told me once that insanity is doing something over and over again the same way, expecting different results. We needed to add competition in a few areas. Guys needed to move on academically or to other schools. Some of those changes are good for everybody involved. And I think that's manufactured into guys compete, knowing that we brought some guys in because we weren't good enough in spots. And so when someone comes in, it's a lot more challenging than when someone's on campus where you see that guy each and every day. We needed to drive some of the competition, Dan, at the end of the day. And so to do that, you're going to have to bring some fresh bodies in, and we'll have some more bodies as we go into fall. Not a ton, but enough to make sure that we are getting everything out of everybody every day. Because I think we lacked a little bit of that, and we got a lot complacent last fall. And with the season the way it was, I wasn't going to be okay with complacency in the off season. And so we made some changes. Some guys made some changes, and I think both parties, us and the people that made changes, were better off for it. And away we go with our first summer together as we head into 23.
Overall, do you like the format today?
It's easy to say at the end of it, to say, oh, it worked out pretty good. I looked at about 3 or 4 other formats, and I tried to kind of hodgepodge a few things together to kind of grab something from somebody and something from somebody else. And then obviously I got to put my sprinkle in on it. I wanted the defense to be rewarded for fourth down stops, not just off the field. To me, you're doing your job if you're getting off on third down, but you're going above and beyond on fourth down. That's going above the call of duty. And then I also wanted turnovers to play out, because that's what we expect. That's what we force. That's what we need to be on the winning side of things. And so I wanted those things to play out. There's some conversation over the headphones where maybe the kickers were wearing red jerseys, but kicking for the white jerseys, and maybe there could have been some I don't know, some swaying, if you will, because they were actually kicking for the defense, kicking off, but kicking for the offense when we were kicking extra points and three field goals. So that's always going to happen. There's always going to be good banter, but at the end of the day, I think it worked out. I think it worked out probably better than anticipated. If it was a 25-point game with 4 minutes to go, I mean, you and I both know it's probably at that point just run the ball out and see ourselves in fall. And it was down to the last drive, which is what you want in any situation where you're playing against yourself.
Ulm had some great catches. What do you think of your receiving core? How'd they look this spring?
Well, that's one of the areas that has been really good for a really long time. The standard doesn't deviate for them. They expect greatness, whether it's practice, PRP, 7-on-7, or live situations. All those guys. There's I mean, Jacoby and Trey Mason and Anthony Stell, and Efton wasn't out there, but he's healthy enough to be out there, and Nolan Ulm, and I mean Isaiah Howard. You go on and on and on. There's a lot of guys that can make a lot of plays if just given the opportunity. So I think it goes to, because we're so deep and so good, I think they make each other better because they don't have a chance to press pause or press rewind because someone else is pressing play or fast forward. And so they're a fun group to watch, fun group to be around, but not a fun group to work out in the off season because their standard is so high. And so that's driven them to the heights they are, and they want to be better than they were last year and get back to where we've been and over the years as far as from top to bottom being a dominant wide receiving core.
Awesome.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Coach.